only one, I should say.
If you want, when you sit down, you
All
can
I
tell
just
us your
wanna
name
say.
too.
Oh, okay.
I
You,
didn't.
you can just say Ruby if you want to.
Hey, do you have anything for number 3?
Oh, we've started? We've started, we're done. I don't know.
Cheers.
What are you going to say?
Okay.
That's all I had. So if you want to ask something for sure, then.
The blessedness of winter. I see the season of winter as an excellent example of the transforming work of the Lord in a Christian's life. When winter comes, the vegetable world, it seems to me, reflects the image of the purifying which God does in order to remove imperfections from the life of one of his children. As cold comes on the wings of winter storm, the trees gradually begin to lose their leaves. The green is soon changed into a funeral brown. Soon the leaves fall away and die. Behold the tree's appearance. Behold the tree's appearances now. It looks stripped and desolate. Behold the loss of summer's beautiful garment. What happens as you look upon that poor tree? You see a revelation. Under all the beautiful leaves that have been all sorts of irregularities and defects. The defects have been invisible because of the beautiful leaves. Now those defects are starkly revealed. The tree is no longer beautiful in its surface appearance. But has the tree actually changed? Not at all. Everything is exactly as it was before. Everything is as it has always been. It's just that the leaves are no longer there to hide what is real. The beauty of the outward life of the leaves had only hidden what had always been present. The same is true of you.
Picture this, a vast forest, a snowy pathway, and searching and not finding. Though you sense that you may be near, you hear a voice calling you. You are seeking the center of all things. Yet we have had guidance and teaching, to fade or flourish, to find our gifts, to be a city on a hill, a new community like no other, to journey towards the integrated life and to continually practice the presence. To be honest, I can sense the presence, but I want more. I want to find the end of the pathway and to stand face to face with the Eternal One, to see the face of God. That is what I seek. That is what I desire. Our Creator has always given us a fifth season, a season of change, so that in our failures we will come to understand hope.
Two roads diverged in a woods, and I could not choose both, and I chose the trail less traveled by, and it was by Robert Frost. And it makes me think that sometimes I am like that. I have chosen the road less traveled by. And sometimes in the process of doing that, you annoy a lot of people because they think that's not the right road.
As the rain and the snow come down from heaven, and does not return to it without watering the earth, and making its bud and flourish, so that it yields seed for the sower and bread for the eater. So is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I send it.
Trying to make sure that the things I volunteer for are things that help fulfill a value I hold and also bring me joy.
But it was funny that I met Shane Weeb a couple of years ago outside. He was cutting his grass and he was talking to my friend and I. And it was interesting that I met him again this week at the community meal. And then also the Lord told me to come here today, and I meet him at the door. Last night I went to the rec center with my friend to have the dinner, and I met him there. He came over and gave me a hug. I'm thinking, well, God, you're really working, you know.
The apostle, the teacher, I'm forgetting what it's called. It's like evangelist, the one that's like kind of holds everybody together. And
Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, of my faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of God. So I need to keep looking to Jesus every day, and he does give me life.
When I think of the sermons I've heard here, I just feel I want to love him more.
He had to do the whole process of being Emmanuel, God with us. He was born in poverty. He was hunted by soldiers. He became a refugee. He did years of hard work, splinters in his hands.
I was welcomed in to that church by the congregation in a way I wasn't expecting. I was amazed at how diverse the church was. And I can't always go because of my schedule at the theater festival, but when I do, I always feel like I'm welcome no matter what. And that's been a different experience for me.
I think I'm kind of working on maybe trying to figure out who I am and who other people are and how we're not the same. And we all have different jobs that God wants us to do, different things he calls us to do.
Troy said that.
Yes.
See, the winter is past, the rains are over and gone. Flowers appear on the earth, the season of singing has come. The cooing of dove is heard in our land. The fig tree forms its early fruit. The blossoming vines spread their fragrance. Arise, come, my darling, my beautiful one, come with me.
My friends, they're always like, what's it like to be a Christian? Like, what's the difference between being that and an atheist? And one of my standard answers is that you have something more to think about. You are always wondering, what is God's part in this? What's going on? What is his plan for what I'm doing right now? And they're kind of confused by that because they're just like, but he's like, they don't think he's real. They're always asking like, what's your proof? And there's no proof, it's just belief.
It's really important to me that regardless of who I'm talking to, my faith comes up in conversation with non-believers as much as it does with believers, and vice versa. My language doesn't change. Who I am is who I am, and that's been it's been really liberating for me to come to that place in my faith walk too, where it's about being genuine and authentic, and so you get some of the rough parts sometimes, and that can be, I think, uncomfortable for maybe for others sometimes when they're around you going, it doesn't mean I just write off my imperfections or just say this is who I am. I'm not dealing with that. I still struggle with stuff, obviously, but it's being comfortable with the journey, I guess, and realizing none of us are perfect and none of us are without our faults.
Okay, so you asked about a favorite memory of community life, and for me it was a square dance, which was very fun. I loved it. So,
well, I've been looking for a church to go to, and I think I found a place here at Avon Mennonite. That's right, yeah. People are very welcoming. Where I am in my life is I've been at River Gardens for over 2 years, And it's been a godsend to me because before that I was so alone. And now there's people around me, and my health is improved 100%. So
Because, like, I was just going to say, square dance!
Working on improving getting to know someone before assuming who they are. Because there's a lot of people in my class who I don't really know, and then I assume who they are and I don't get to know them. So then I might miss out on a friendship.
Yeah.
I think it might have been this year, but I don't know. Was when Troy, I think it was a quote from someone else. He said, "Information without application is just entertainment." And then I feel like I find myself thinking about God more in the day, just from knowing that He's with me more. Like, I don't know. I remember that He's there more often. And I have it up in my room now.
Do you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Say it again.
Good.
That was good.
Information without application is just entertainment.
Good.
Now, I go to the community meals to meet people. Most cities you go, there's one meal in Stratford. There's, I don't know how many of them. So, but
I volunteer for community meals, Trinity Church, dishwasher, something to cook, serving food and stuff. I mean, 3 years now.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
It's not about food. No, actually, it's about fellowship, because you get people, you get to come to a community meal, and all of a sudden you're meeting new people that you've never met before, and it's great.
Yeah.
You learn a lot of friends that way, the friendships to these meals, and you get to know a lot of people that either are new or they're coming into these community meals from the community. And I find that very good, because there's people out there really suffering, like trying to put food on the table, and it's just tragic out there, like the people that need to come in and get meals, and so that's all I have to say about that.
When Cyril talks about the Habs, that just divides the room, doesn't it? Yeah. It's a tight bunch, and a loving bunch, and you know what? Like, I've had more people show me their scars from surgery, and tell me personal stories. I've heard my stories, like my mother passed away 2 nights ago, or I just got out of the hospital. I've been there for 5 months. Wow. Stories like that, and it just touches you so much. Like, it's for sure. It's big. Yeah.
There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace.
I want to experience transformation, to experience transcendence. I want to experience the transfiguration, to draw near and see the face of God. I want to run wildly towards this and look deeply into the eye of God, to experience this vision, both violently and passionately, broken and bleeding, risen and healing, a beatific vision.
My understanding of love has shifted, and because not having Dad here, I mean, I love my father absolutely in life, but I question now, and I went through a cycle of regret and guilt and shame of, did I love him as much as I could have, and did I show him that enough, and did I get over any of the fights that I had in my teens with him enough? Did we? And I mean, I did. But still, the love I feel for him in him not being here is very strong, and it's a slightly different kind of a love, and maybe it's mixed with longing as well. But it makes me think, on the bright side of that, it makes me think that how can I be more present with the people I love now here, and how can I be more present with myself that way?
I think for me that church, I don't really distinguish it as anything different from other activities, that they're all spiritual activities. And I think if I had to say what church has brought to my life recently, it's not necessarily through, say, the activities that are totally church-related or the messages, but right now I've been reading a lot of a certain author, and the only reason I've encountered this author is because of a person at church, and I think that the connecting core of church brings people together and then opens the door to various notions. We're all kind of bumping around into each other like orbs, and I think that this is just another place where I've encountered God, and I'm grateful for the journey that I'm on. Right now, for me, church has been a place of coincidences.
Definitely. Oh yeah, Mama and I do a lot of nudging during this service about whether or not I relate to that or she relates to that or we both relate to that at the same time. And yeah, it's very interesting. We go home and talk about it, and sometimes they're definitely tough conversations in, you know, oh, can you point this out to me and me, or what do you think about this, or what do you think about that? And a lot of the times we have to remind each other that these are our own journeys, that even if we feel like we're going through the same journey, we still have to do it ourselves.
Like I said there, I live my life trying to be in the middle, not too high, not too low. And, you know, by doing that, sometimes, like maybe I'm leaving myself out of hitting like a new high because I haven't hit rock bottom, because I fight every day not to be at rock bottom. And, you know, because that's scary to me. I think about things that could happen. That's just my honest answer. Rock bottom scares me, so maybe I'm gonna miss out because I just can't get there. It's something I've been thinking about for this whole week. I don't have an answer other than that.
So what usually punches me in the gut on a Sunday morning is the music. And so that has nothing to do with necessarily the content of the sermons and stuff. But if we're talking about anything and everything, then I'll tell you that for some reason, music is a real thin space for me, right? And people who know me and keep, you know, one eye on me, they'll know that there's so many songs that we sing that I can't even make it through because it hits me, you know, pretty deeply. And you know, I guess I'm a pretty emotional guy, or I'm a pretty sensitive guy, and some of the lyrics and some of the melodies that we experience together on Sunday morning, they're really meaningful to me. So, and hey, here we are in Advent, right? And some of the Advent songs are the ones that hit the hardest. So, so I always look forward to that. I think I grow and learn from that, but it is a little embarrassing for me and my children to have Dad kind of like tearing up again as we sing on Sunday morning. So.
That's empowering, my friend.
Hey, well, that's what we're here for.
That is, yeah.
Throughout the long, cold winter, the tree certainly appears as dead as the very deadest of all trees in the forest. The trees know such reality. He's a total destruction, it seems, but the truth lies somewhere else. That tree is actually undergoing and submitting to a process which preserves its life and strengthens the tree. After all, what does winter do to a tree? It contrasts the tree's exterior. The life deep within is no longer uselessly expended. Its life, rather, is concentrated within the deepest part of the trunk and in the hidden portions of the root. The life is forced deeper and deeper into the inmost part of the tree. Winter preserves the tree, no matter how dead the tree may appear. Yet its leaves have fallen away, and its true, deformed state has been exposed. Yet the tree has never been more fully alive than at that time. During the winter, the source and principle of life is more firmly established than in any other season. In all the other seasons, the tree employs the whole force of its life in adorning and beautifying itself, but it does so at the expense of expending its life, taking it very vitally from the roots and the deepest part of the trunk. There must be winter. Winter is necessary for the tree if it is to live, survive, and flourish. As with the tree, so it is with you.
First winter, then spring, into summer, then autumn, then winter once more. My seasons have turned on their axes many hundreds of times, and yet I'm still searching for a deeper encounter with the presence of the Christ. On this pathway, we have learned that we can be filled with joy and love of the Spirit. Every moment is a sacred journey, a finding, an encounter with the holy ones, who become, as we can also, the true faces of God.
I just enjoy every Sunday morning in the Sunday school class. I enjoy it. It's so enriching. It's so, everybody, we understand each other. We understand each other without saying words, I feel.